Hello everyone, myself Assistant Professor Vatsal D. Patel from Civil Engineering Department working at Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center Navsari. Today we are going to discuss about curves and our today's topic is compound transition and vertical curves. So be ready with your pen and paper. So let's start with elements of compound curve first. A compound curve consists of two or more circular arcs of different radii or say radius with their centers of curvature on the same side of the common tangent. Compound curves are required when space restriction preclude a single circular curve and when there are property boundaries. Okay. So let us understand elements of compound curve from this figure. Okay. So figure shows a two-centered compound curve T1, T3, T2 having two circular arcs T1, T1 and T3, T2 meeting at common point T3 known as the point of compound curvature or it is denoted by short form PCC. Okay, so let us see it in the image. Okay, so figure shows the two center compound curve. Which one? This one T1, T3, T2. Okay, having two circular arc. Which arc? T1, T1 and T3, T2 meeting at a common point T3. Which point? This point T3 known as the point of compound curvature or it is denoted by PCC. Okay, so already we have mentioned it here. Okay, so I have written down it's here. Okay, so capital T1 is the point of cover say PC. Okay, its short form is PC. T2 is the point of tangency or say its short form is PT. RS and RS and RL are the radius of the curve. Delta S and delta L are the deflection angle. So LS and LL are the length of curve. Small ts and small tl are the tangent length and capital Ts and capital TL are also tangent length. Okay, but there is a difference. Okay, small ts will be this distance only. Okay, at the midpoint, whereas capital TL will be or Ts will be the whole distance. Okay, so this is just one difference here. Okay, so from the figure, tangent length of circular curve will be given by Ts is equal to T1m is equal to m T3, which is given by Rs tan delta S by 2, and TL is equal to T3m is equal to n T2 is equal to RL tan delta L by 2. So Mn will be given by Ts plus TL. So total deflection angle will be given by delta is equal to delta S plus delta L, and the tangent length of compound curve, okay, will be given by triangle MBN. Okay, so in triangle MBN, Mn is equal to MT3 plus T3n is equal to Ts plus TL. So MB by sine theta sine delta L is equal to Bn by sine delta S is equal to Mn divided by sine into bracket 180 degree minus delta. Further it is simplified by MB divided by sine delta L is equal to Bn divided by sine delta S is equal to Ts plus TL divided by sine delta. Okay, and tangent length of the compound curve will be given by MB divided by sine delta L is equal to Bn divided by sine delta S is equal to Ts plus TL divided by sine delta. So further if we require value of MB, then it will be given by into bracket Ts plus TL bracket over into sine delta L divided by sine delta, and if we require the value of Bn, it will be given by into bracket Ts plus TL bracket over into sine delta S divided by sine delta. So Ts will be given by Ts plus MB. So further simplifying it, Ts plus into bracket Ts plus TL sine delta L by sine delta. Only we are putting the value of MB. Okay, and in TL will be given by TL plus Bn. So same procedure is follow. We are putting value of Bn from above. Okay, so equation will be TL plus into bracket TS plus TL bracket over sine delta S by sine delta. Length of compound curve will be given by I is equal to IS plus IL. But we have IS is equal to pi RS delta S divided by 180 degree and IL is equal to pi RL delta L divided by 180 degree. So put down this value and calculate the required length of the compound curve. So these are the required equation which are useful for the compound curve, and the last one is chainage. Okay, so if you require chainage, so chainage of T1 will be chainage of B minus TS, chainage of T2 will be chainage of T1 plus LS, and chainage of T3 will be chainage of T3 plus LL. Okay. Next, we are going to discuss about elements of reverse curve. Reverse curve, though pleasing to the eye, would bring discomfort to the motorist running at design speed. So, despite this fact, reverse curves are being used with great success on park roads, formal parts, waterway channel, etc. Okay, so here is the image which shows the elements of reverse curve. So, radius R1 and R2 of the two circular arcs. They are the two circular arcs which radius is R1 and R2. Next, angle of total deflection delta between the straight. Central angle or angle of deflection will be delta 1 and delta 2 of the common tangent, and angle theta 1 and theta 2 between the straights and the joining the points of commencement and tangency. So all the data is here, okay, but it is used very rarely in the calculation. Okay. Next is transition curve. So here you can see one image, but let us discuss what is transition curve. So to avoid sense of jerking of passenger while entering from straight road to circular curves, transition curves are provided. It is also provide gradual introduction of super elevation, and it is also used for aesthetic appearance of widening of road. So they are mainly designed for three criteria: comfort, introduction of side distance, and minimum length as per IRC. So let us see, when a vehicle moves on a curve, there are two forces acting, like weight of vehicle, say W, and centrifugal force P, capital P. Okay, so you can see it in the image diagram. Okay, so the centrifugal force is given by P is equal to W square by GR, where P is the centrifugal force in kg or Newton, W is equal to weight of the vehicle in kg or Newton, V is equal to speed of vehicle in meter per second square, G is equal to acceleration due to gravity, it is also meter per second square, and R is the radius of curve. So if we talk about transition curve, the centrifugal force capital P is inversely proportional to the radius of the curve, or say capital R. So as the radius decreases, centrifugal force increases. So straight road has infinite radius of curvature. Hence centrifugal force on vehicle moving on straight road is 0. Okay, so be sure you remember this one. Next, when a vehicle enters from straight road to the curve, its radius changes from infinite to R. R means which radius of the curve. Okay, so resulting in sudden centrifugal force, say capital P, on the vehicle. It causes the vehicle to sway outwards. If this exceeds a certain value, the vehicle may overturn. So to avoid this effect, a curve of changing radius must be introduced between the straight and the circular curve. Such a curve is known as a transition curve. So this is the definition of transition curve. So be sure you remember it very well. It is important for your examination. So let us see requirements of a transition curve. So it should be tangential to the straight. It should meet the circular curve tangentially. Its curvature should be 0 at the origin on straight. Its curvature at the junction with the circular curve should be the same as that of the circular curve. The rate of increase of curvature along the transition should be the same as that of increases of super elevation. The length should be such that full super elevation or say cant is attained at the junction with the circular curve. So let us see what is the purpose of providing transition curve. So to accomplish gradually the transition from the straight to the circular so that the curvature is increased gradually from 0 to a specified value. To provide a medium for the gradual introduction of super elevation and to provide extra widening on the circular curve gradually. So let's see its advantages. So it reduces the discomfort, reduce the chances of overturning of the vehicles, allows higher speed at curves and wear on running gears is reduced. So in this one we have one special term mentioned, super elevation or say cant. Okay, so let us understand super elevation or cant. So you can see in the image, okay, all the criteria are mentioned. Okay, so super elevation is defined as the raising of outer edge of a road respect to its inner edge. So it is provided to counteract the centrifugal force acting on the vehicle at circular curves, as we see it in the transition curve. Centrifugal force will change according to the radius. Okay, so for this the vehicle not overturn, for that reason super elevation is provided. So let us see. So you can see all the criteria in the image. So the centrifugal force is given by P is equal to WV square upon GR, where P is equal to centrifugal force in kg or Newton. As we already see this equation, okay, already one, but we are going to derive some equation for the calculation. Okay, so W will be weight of the vehicle in kg or Newton, V is equal to speed of vehicle in meter per second square, G is equal to acceleration due to gravity. It is also in meter per second square, and R is equal to radius of curve. So further this equation is simplified into P by W is equal to V square upon GR. So from the figure tan theta will be small e by small b. Okay, so it will be, here you can see the small e here and small b. So mn by mg it will be given. Okay, which one? Mn and mg. Okay, so mn divided by mg is equal to P by W, which is equal to V square upon GR. So E by B is equal to V square upon GR. So if we require value of E, it will be given by BV square by GR, where B is equal to width of the road. So this is the required equation which is used for the examples. Next, let us discuss length of transition curve. So length of transition curve introduced between straight and circular curve is calculated following consideration: by the rate of super elevation, by time rate, and by rate of change of radial acceleration. So let us see in detail all three cases. So first one is by rate of super elevation. The length of transition curve is given by L is equal to NE. So the value of N may vary from 300 to 1200. So E will be given by BV square upon GR, as we already know it. Next, by time rate. The time taken by a vehicle over the transition curve of length L with speed V is given by T is equal to capital L divided by V. And super elevation is attained in this time is equal to TR, which is further simplified into capital L upon V into R. So L will be given by EV upon R. So substituting the value of E in the equation, which equation? this last one, L is equal to EV upon R. So we get the equation L is equal to V upon R into BV square upon GR. Next is by rate of change of radial acceleration. In this method, the length of transition curve is decided based on the basis of the comfort of the passenger. If alpha is the rate of change of radial acceleration, the radial acceleration attained during the time vehicle passes over the transition curves is given by A is equal to alpha t, and further it is still simplified into alpha into L by V. So radial acceleration is given by A is equal to V square upon R. So alpha L upon V is equal to V square upon R. So our final equation will be L is equal to V cube upon alpha R. Next we are going to discuss types of transition curves. So there are mainly three types of transition curve. First one is cubic spiral, second one is cubic parabola, and third one is the Lemoyne-Stratz curve. So let us see it in detail, all these three one. Okay, so first one is cubic spiral. So you can see its image at the bottom. So the cubic spiral is best suited on railways. The equation of cubic spiral is y is equal to L cube by 6RL, where y is equal to perpendicular offset from the tangent, small l is equal to distance measured along the curve, r is the radius of circular curve, and capital L is equal to length of transition curve. Next is cubic parabola. So you can see its formation at the bottom. So this type of curve is used in railway line construction. The equation of cubic parabola is y is equal to x cube divided by 6RL, where y is perpendicular offset from the tangent, x is equal to distance measured along the curve, r is the radius of circular curve, and capital L is equal to length of transition curve. And the last one is the Lemoyne-Stratz curve. So instead of providing intermediate circular curve, when entire curve is provided in the form of transition curve, it is known as Lemoyne-Stratz. So this type of curve is used on highways mainly. Okay, so let us see the equation of Bernoulli's Lemoyne-Stratz curve. So it will be given by P is equal to K under root sine 2 alpha, where P is equal to polar distance of any point, alpha is equal to polar deflection angle for any point, and K is equal to constant. So you can see its formation in the image at the bottom. Next we are going to derive the equation for the ideal transition curve. So when a vehicle moving on a straight takes a circular path, super elevation is required to be introduced uniformly from 0 to its maximum design value. So on the other hand, speed of vehicle kept constant speed. So requirements are fulfilled by two cases. First one is increase the centrifugal force at a constant rate, and second one is varying the distance traveled along transition curve with the time. Okay, so if we talk about centrifugal force is directly proportional to the length of transition curve, it will be given by P. Okay, P proportional to the L. So P is equal to centrifugal force, which is given by WV square upon GR. So WV square upon GR proportional to L. So but WV and G are constant, so 1 upon R proportional to the L. Okay, and super elevation is proportional to the length of transition curve. So E is proportional to L proportional to WV square upon GR. But WV and G are constant as we already see in it. Okay, so L proportional to 1 upon R and LR is equal to constant. These are the equation for the ideal transition curve. Next we are going to discuss about vertical curves. So it is provided when there is a sudden change in gradient of a highway or a railway. It is provided when a highway or railway crosses a ridge or a valley. It smoothens the change in gradient so that there is no discomfort to the passenger traveling in vehicles. So let's see its advantages. So due to vertical curves, change in gradient is gradual. It improves the appearance of road and railway journey becomes comfortable. So let us see types of vertical curves. So there are mainly two types of curves, summit curve or say convex curve, or say second one is valley curve or say concave curve. So if we talk about first one, which one? Summit curves. Okay. So design of summit curves is on the basis of side distance. On summit curves, centrifugal force acting outward, hence the springs of vehicle is not compressed and therefore passenger comfort is not a issue. Design of summit curve as a square parabola because of the rate of change of slope is decreasing always, so more side distance available at the top of the curve. Okay, so it is mainly derived according to curve. Second one is valley curves. So in daytime, no problem of any side distance, but in night time, headlight side distance should be sufficient for vehicle to stop before colliding with the object. So in valley curves, the centrifugal force will be acting downwards along with the weight of the vehicle. This will result in jerking of the vehicle and cause discomfort to the passenger. So to remove this, following situation are there. So if we talk about summit curve, it is provided in following situation. You can see its image at the bottom. So an upgrade or say plus G1 is followed by the downgrade, say minus G2. Second one, an upgrade, say plus G1 followed by another upgrade, say plus G2. Criteria is given. Next, a downgrade minus G1 followed by the another downgrade, say G2 according to criteria. And a plane surface followed by a downgrade or say minus G1. Similarly, if we talk about valley curve, so it is provided in following cases when a downgrade minus G1 followed by a upgrade, say plus G2. When a downgrade is G1 followed by another downgrade, say minus G2 according to case. An upgrade plus G1 followed by the another upgrade, say plus G2 according to case. And a plane surface followed by a upgrade or say plus G1. And lastly, let's see the length of vertical curves. So the length of vertical curves can be obtained by dividing the algebraic difference of two grades by the rate of change of grade. So length of curve, say capital L, will be given by total change of grade divided by rate of change of grade. So it will be given by G2 minus G1 divided by R, where G1, G2 are grades in percentage and R is equal to rate of change of grade in percentage. So this is the required equation which is used to calculate length of vertical curves. Okay. So here are some important questions which are very useful for your examination. So be sure you note down this all, and already we have covered all this in our theory. Okay, so be sure you write down each and every one and perfectly understand it with all the cases. So here I end my session. Thank you all of you.